When he turned his back from shoulder to shoulder, it looked like as wide as the tailgate of a truck.
And just darkness, literal darkness, just came like all over, just all over me except where I was standing.
This thing let out the most blood-curdling, mind-blowing, spine-tingling scream that you've ever heard in your life, and it cut through me like a knife.
And I knew that they were going to take me. I just knew it. And then the next thing I can remember is being levitated.
Well, when I look in there, I see two big eyes staring back at me.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Bump Podcast, a place for the believers of the unexplained, monsters, and paranormal. Join us, and we'll go face to face with what goes bump in the night.
It clicked in me, Bo. I was like, this stuff is real. Like, this guy was 99% right about everything. And then that just opened the door to me looking at all kinds of metaphysical subjects, reincarnation, angels, anything that I could get my hands on. I was reading about it. And I dove in head first, and I haven't really slowed down since.
Well, I don't blame you. With all the knowledge that you've gained, and from having an experience like that, I had a psychic experience too. It was after my grandmother passed away. I was in Louisiana at the time, and I've talked about that on past shows, but it does change you. It makes you realize that there are people out there with these genuine gifts, and I don't know if we all have that ability or if it's something that just certain individuals have, but it's very real. And I can't wait to hear more about what you've experienced and how you've developed it. Now, you talked about your relationship with spirit. Is that what your guide goes by? Is just spirit, or is there a specific name for her? I don't know if it's him.
Oh, my spirit guide, the main one, the fairy, her name's Miriam. But we could have like 20 guides, Bo, at any time. I mean, I don't even know if you could put a number on it. It depends on what you're doing, what you want to accomplish. So each guide will come and help you with that certain part in your life. Like, for example, say you have a guide that's helping you everything to do with your throat chakra, like speaking, marketing, the podcast, everything. You could have a guide that just helps you with that. But I did tell you this story before, like on the phone, last time we talked, but it was about this guided meditation that I did to meet your spirit guide. Yeah. So when I first started meditating, and I encourage people who don't meditate, start with a guided meditation, because it's much easier to follow someone's voice and clear your mind that way until you get like disciplined enough to clear your own mind during meditation. So I'm doing a spirit guide meditation, and I'm following the lady's voice. She's like, go down the stairs into the temple, and in the temple you will meet your spirit guide, and that being is coming before you and coming closer. So everything that she's saying is happening in the meditation, and I see this being with a blue robe and brown hair, and slowly his face starts to become clearer and clearer, and then I see wings behind him. And then the lady continues in the guided meditation, talk to your spirit guide and ask him his name. So I did. I was like, what's your name? And he said, I'm Archangel Gabriel.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I was totally shocked. I was stunned. And then the lady keeps talking. And I'm like, shh, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. So I asked him, I said, are you Archangel Gabriel from the Bible? And he's like, yes, I'm the one and the same. So totally unexpected. I thought I was just going to get like spirit guide and Archangel showed up, and I was stunned, but he's been with me ever since. He's been with me since childhood, to be honest, but he really came forward. So the archangels were really my biggest guides when I started really waking up in 2011 and forward. And then as I've grown, those guys, they kind of stepped backward, and other beings have stepped forward to guide me.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this, and hopefully it's not too personal or too hard of a question, but I can totally see how, you know, this spiritualism and, you know, the metaphysical world coincides with, I guess you would just call it religion, your belief in God, you know, theism. How does it work out for you? Is there an interference at all between, you know, your belief in God and then all these interdimensional beings that you work with, or is there a room for all of it for you?
Well, I wouldn't describe myself as religious.
Right.
I did grow up Catholic, and I studied the Bible, and I went to Catholic school, so I'm familiar with the stories of the Bible. I'm more spiritual, and I believe that we're all a spark of the Creator. We're all part of Him, and that if I want to connect to the Creator, I can do that so at any time. I don't have to go to a certain building or services or anything. And I always say the earth is my church.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to connect, I go within or I go outside. Yeah. There's two ways to connect to your higher self, you know, your inner divine self.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds good to me. There's something else we talked about over the phone. And the first time we talked, your presence about it was just so comfortable. I was talking to you about, we talked about how a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows are always about negative things, and you weren't too crazy about only hearing the negative or the scary. You like to talk about the more positive. But I'm not trying to make this a negative podcast at all, by any means. But you were talking about your power over the negative entities, and how you prefer not to even call them by what they are because they liked it, and you were just so comfortable talking about like, no, they're nothing. I'll just tell them to leave. Can you go into that and how you have such confidence over the scary stuff?